So maybe you've done some basic quilting, like sewing charm squares together or doing a basic 9-patch, and you're ready for something different. Or maybe you just want to do something a little bit more free-form, don't really feel like doing a pattern, and you just have fabric you need to use up. Whatever it is, the quilt I'm going to make today is perfect for that, and it's still beginner friendly. Hi, I'm Jenny. I've been sewing for like 30 years, and I love to make a ton of different things, and I want to bring you along on the journey. You don't need to like and subscribe to my channel, but it'd be a lot cooler if you did. Today we are going to make a free-form stack and whack quilt. I love these. They're a great use of fabric, especially when you get those fat quarter bundles that then you're like, oh, I don't really know what I want to do with them. That's what we're gonna do. I have 14 fat quarters here. You may recognize some of them from the dollar store if you shop there often. I also have some that I have custom printed. I have a short on that. I'm actually not sure if I'm gonna use background fabric. This is kind of just to see what we wanna do, like go where the fabric takes us moment. Yeah, I know how that sounded when I said it. Trust me, these are fun. Use as many or as few as you want. It's gonna change the size of your quilt, and that's fine. As a side note about quilting fabric, I don't wash before I cut. I don't. I know some people do. I prefer not to. And for this particular quilt, I'm not even gonna trim them or square them. We're gonna do that later. Free form, cool, abstract is the name of the game here. So if you're one of those like really uptight, precise sewers, this may be a good like art therapy project for you to try something different, or you may just not want to do this because you're gonna freak out that I don't measure anything at all until the end. Let's start sewing. Actually, let's start cutting first. For this, I do recommend using a cutting mat, a rotary cutter, and a long ruler. Optional is some painter's tape to mark it. I have mostly two different colors in this stack. I have this like a teal base and a blue base, so I'm going to alternate them just so when I switch things around, it'll be better. I'm gonna line up one edge. Like I said, it doesn't really matter. So then we're gonna do a teal. Oh, I guess I do have some baby blue in here too, but this one doesn't even have a selvage edge. That's okay. And I'm gonna stack probably about 4 per pile. And then we're gonna get going. I hate that that fabric does that. Okay, here's my first pile. I'm gonna mark 2 points and basically cut 2 diagonal pieces. I need a longer ruler. Why did I not think that through? Like I said, this is totally arbitrary. We're gonna pick 2 points. I'm gonna mark them with pins. So I'm gonna mark where I set my ruler against, just so that when I go and I do my next one, all I have to do is click it in place. Okay, got that. Use our rotary cutter. Cut 1. And then I'm gonna say, because I don't want it to be perfect across, we're gonna go right here. Okay, and then you can see they come apart. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna remove the top 2 layers here. And this is my first block. So I'm gonna pin these 2 together so that I remember how they go. There's block 1. And then you can see it already makes your next block when you take those pieces away. One thing I forgot to mention is if you do have directional fabric, make sure it's pointed all in the same direction. It'll just look better in the end, and you won't get things mixed up. So I'm gonna cut the second stack exactly the same, and then we're gonna go to the machine. I've got my whole stack, and we're gonna sit down and sew it all.
I'm trying a new camera angle. What do we think? It's really high up.
I will say if you were a beginner, sometimes diagonal seams are hard. They can stretch. Just be careful, go slow. You can also do this stack and whack with all straight lines. You don't have to do diagonals. Do what you are comfortable with and it'll still look cool. I promise.
What's our timer? Hold on. Sorry, my light just died. I want to show you this part. When we put together the pieces we just showed, you'll notice that if I line up one edge, that the point's not going to be lined up, and that's okay. You can choose to line your point up and make this even. I am going for more of a freeform crazy one, so I'm going to start here. I'm going to line this edge up. I'm going to say I don't care about that point, and I'm going to move on. Your choice. It took me 25 minutes to do all these pieces. Now you could stop here. You could square all these up, make them the same size, sew them together, and you would be done. But I want it funkier, so let's cut it again. Okay, you'll notice the points, or whatever we want to call them, don't all line up. This one's even upside down for some reason. I don't care. So I'm gonna make a cut here and a cut here, I think. Hopefully it doesn't go through the point of any of these. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. That didn't cut all the way. That's okay. So let's take that away. And that away. And just for fun, let's take that away. Because now we're getting a little more interesting. And then maybe we'll cheat. 1, 2, 3. I'll go like that. That's my next block. And I'm just going to take the ones that I just took away, put them underneath so that it stays in the same order, but we'll get different blocks every time. I don't know if that makes sense, but it does. It just works. You don't have to, it doesn't have to make sense, it just works. Okay. Okay, I had planned on doing like 1 more or 2 more cuts, but honestly, I'm tired. So now I just need to decide if I want to just straighten all the edges of the blocks. This isn't pressed, or make squares. Here's how I decide what I want that to look like. I cut a 16 by 16 square out of a piece of poster board because I know that that's the max height of this. What I'm just gonna do, so we're gonna place it on there with the biggest side in one corner. And this is what a 16 by 16 square would look like. Pretty cool. But then I also cut from the square in the middle these 1 by 1 L's, so I can kind of see, okay, so that would be what a 15 by 15 square would look like. And then this would be what a 14 by 14 square would look like. You can see I didn't cut them exactly right. That's okay. There we go. And this would be a 14 by 14 square. I actually think I really like this. So I'm going to press all of these and then trim them down to 14 by 14, trying to get the most of this design in there. But I still like the big fields and the little fields. So this is too much big field for me, and I don't feel like cutting and stacking again. But I am going to save the cutoffs and show you what I'll do with that at the end. So that's how you do that. So the whole point of this quilt was to use up this onesie that one of my friends asked me to do something with. This was his obviously first birthday onesie. So this is where the shark theme came from for the rest of the pieces. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some stabilizer to the back of this, and then we're going to use the pieces we just cut off to make this into the same size as those other blocks. And then with what's left, we're just going to piece it together to get us some more random scrappy blocks. All right, let's do that. And here's where we're at
The square turned out so cute. There's one of the scrappy blocks, and oh, there's the other one. So I actually started out with 13 fat quarters. I counted wrong, but I ended up with 16 blocks. So you could either choose to just sew them together like this, but I'm going to put a border in because I already bought the fabric and we don't waste fabric here. So